live now? You got.
What's going on? What's going on,
We back at
family?
it.
We
We
at
back
it. We did it once again, y'all.
Yeah,
We made it happen. Hey.
It's been a minute.
Yes.
It's been a minute,
You know
man.
what? I haven't even lit my stick yet.
Man, you gotta
we
get it
got to
lit.
go ahead and do this. I haven't lit my stick. You know
go.
what?
I got you.
I haven't even cut it yet.
Hey, Doc, you know how they always say.
Yeah.
There's always one big one
Yes.
that you do.
Yes.
Podcast
Uh-huh.
that puts you on the map. This one is it.
It is.
This one is
All
it.
right, cool. This is the one.
This is the one. That
Okay.
if y'all stream it, if you listen to us, if you hear us, it's gonna take this thing to the level it needs to be. It needs to be taken for the betterment of people that are watching this podcast.
All right,
this
cool.
is the one.
This is it.
Empowerment is not in your pants.
Oh, did you say it? Say it one more
I'm gonna
time.
say it again. Empowerment is not in your pants.
It's not in your pants.
We're gonna define sexuality. We're gonna look at it from all different angles, specifically within the community, within the folk, and we're gonna examine this concept of empowerment that God has called us to,
Yes.
but somehow we misrepresented it and we miscarried it. From dressing and keeping the garden and understanding God's topics of empowerment to dominating and degrading our women and turn it into a sexuality domination instead of an empowerment of land domination.
And nobody wants to pay attention to
We're going to talk about
We're
it.
going to talk about it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go ahead and get into this. This is going to blow your mind.
Yes,
Let
it
me
is.
just go ahead and tell you just like it is, because I really want you all to understand that when it comes down to this thing called sexuality in our community, do you know how much influence is in this thing called sexuality?
Yeah. And we got to define it, Doc.
Man, we got to.
We got to define it and lay it out this way. So, just for our listeners to get this, God has given you purpose.
Yes.
And empowered you to have dominion over everything He created, except for mankind.
You know what?
Let's
a Genesis account.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
He gave us our initial purpose in creating us was to empower us, and that surge we have, that appetite that we have, to want to dominate, to want to control, to want to build. We are empowered to have that because that came from His Spirit that lives inside us.
Yes.
But we have to deal with the issue of slavery and how that rechanneled our focus of empowerment, and it took us off of being empowered to have dominion over the earth. So now we think we need to have dominion over people. And God never anointed us to have dominion over people.
Well, you know, let's think about the whole slavery situation.
We got to build.
It was a big recalibration that happened.
It was.
And it recalibrated us to be what we didn't want to be.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You know, and we just got to go ahead and unchain this, or we need to go ahead and put this thing in perspective so others can understand. In order for us to be able to move forward, can I say that out loud?
Yes, say it out loud.
To move forward, we have to go ahead and unpack this thing.
Right. When we started this voyage, and I want to go back even further to colonization.
Yes.
We were kings and queens. We were princes and princesses. We certainly had the controlling power in the motherland of Africa. Without question. Yes, we had tribal warfare. Yes, we sold each other in and out of slavery. Yes, we did those. It wasn't chattel slavery, but yes, we did those things.
Yes.
But by the European domination of colonization, chattel slavery came into play. It caused us to restructure our focus. So we stopped focusing on God as a provider.
But we started focusing on who?
Man as a provider.
Wow.
Right? So instead of us realizing the creative genius that was inside of us to get things done that God has created in us, we started focusing more on what our white counterparts had for us as master and we as slaves.
Oh man, and you know what? There was
That's
something
huge.
I need to go ahead and do this. And you all know I'm scripturally based. I'm going to go ahead and bring the scripture out because this is something that we all need to understand. And they said that you don't have to get ready if you stay ready, right?
That's right.
Got the book.
Bring it out. Bring it out because folks, the problem is that we've taken the idea of chasing after sex and chasing after intimacy. It's become our sole focus for getting a job. It's become our sole purpose for sitting on twanks. It's become our sole purpose for anything we see as success. Our sole purpose of that is to win the next sister or to win the next brother. And that's not God's purpose intended for our lives.
No,
it was purpose to have dominion over the earth. That's what we want to unpeel. That's what we want to unravel. And through slavery, our biggest notch in the belt, when they separate the field Negro from the house Negro, when they started having us have sexual relationships to build bigger and better slaves, our focus became pleasing the white man or pleasing the European. I don't want to sound racist. I'm not Muslim, and I'm not saying that Muslims are racist either. I'm just saying I want the viewers to understand. We changed our focus from wanting to please our master through sexual reproductivity instead of pleasing our God through reproducing dominion in the earth.
I just got this right here in Genesis, the first chapter.
Come on.
And I know that he was talking about it. Please, listen to this. This is Genesis 1 and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image.
Right.
That's powerful by itself right
our
there.
Image. And God is a spirit. He's not carnal.
He's not carnal.
So when he said, let us make man in our own image, he was speaking to the spirit of man, not the carnal flesh of man. And slavery makes you focus on the carnality, but not the spirit. Keep going.
And then check this out. I'm about to really put something on you. Here it is. After our likeness. So all the emotions that the Most High have, who has them? We do.
We absolutely do. Not only do we have that emotion and that character of God, but we have God's creative power.
Yes.
But the opportunity that we missed through slavery, we didn't realize just how empowered we were in dominion and having dominion over the earth. I'm going to give you a really good example.
Go ahead.
I asked my grandson. I called him in. I said, son, I feel like I'm in a given spirit today. I'm going to present two different visions for you. I'm going to give you either one you want.
What did you say?
I said, to the right, I've got the vision of a mansion that has 16 rooms, 20 bathrooms, and it has a 9-car garage. There's a McLaren in there. There's a Lamborghini in there. There's a Mach in there. I said, whatever car you want to make up those 6-car garages is in there. And beside that mansion is a Skylark jet. I said, a jet. So I'm offering you a jet. I'm offering you 6 cars of your choice in a mansion. And on the other side is a picture of land. And I asked my son, which one do you want? Do you want the land, or do you want the Skylark, the mansion, and the cars? My grandson said, so Dad, you're offering me not just the Skylark jet, but I get the mansion too, and the cars. I said, yes, sir. You get that, or I can give you this land. He said, I'll take the jet. He said, I'll take the mansion. He said, I'll take the cars. I said to my son, that is the slave mentality. Because what my son didn't understand is what's in the land is what's in the garage.
Sure enough.
What's in the land is that jet.
Where did the iron ore come from?
That's it. Everything that you see with your natural eyes, from jets to mansions to cars to homes, all of that came from the earth. So my son was lusting after somebody else's vision and their work of taking those minerals out the earth to create that. My son simply wanted the finished product. But what he didn't understand was the land, if he simply chose the land, there were multiple jets in the land. There's multiple cars in the land. But we don't want to put the Spirit of God, equity, into dominion and land. We want what somebody else has.
Well, look,
that's what slavery taught us to have.
Slavery did that.
Yes.
Let me tell you one other thing slavery did, especially concerning this whole thing. And I'm glad that you brought out this whole thing about the land. See, we don't, right now, we're living in a society right now that we want someone else's creation.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We want somebody else's vision that they sought and received from God. But keep this in mind. through chattel slavery, we weren't taught to go to God for vision.
Right.
We were taught to go to man for vision.
Right.
So we were taught through slavery to recognize man's visions, not God's visions. So through slavery, we're made and we're created in the image of our slave owner.
Yes.
Not in the image of God. So we grow up as a culture of people.
Yes.
Missing that you don't seek after man's vision.
You don't.
You seek after God's vision.
Yes.
Because when you seek after God's vision, it's all encompassing of man's vision. But we don't want to put the time in. We don't want to put the sweat equity in.
No.
We don't want to put the vision in. We'd rather go to our master for support. We'd rather go to our master for economic solvency. We'd rather go to our master for help than to go to God for help, because that's what chattel slavery taught us.
Absolutely. So when is the last time, and I want everybody to really take some time to think about this. When is the last time you wanted to go ahead and look at what God has given you for your creation and make it manifest?
Right. Right.
Oh, now how do we take that same thought of manifesting vision to our sexuality?
Absolutely.
Oh,
now that's huge, because once we have realized, and we came to this realization over the years and through the process, from slavery through Jim Crow to even current day, that our master will only give us
what?
Enough that he would have us want us to have. Once we realize that he has controlled how much we can have, we were frustrated, and we had to find other avenues to do something with this vision. We had to do something with this spirit that God gave us. We're not going to get away from the dominion spirit God gave us, because he gave it to us. So we got to do something with it, and we're trying to use our creative genius for something outside the box, but we keep having to go back to our master, who shuts us down. So then it becomes a pursuit of a woman. A pursuit of sexuality. Because kids become our accomplishment to show that we have dominion. Creating kids and not being a father.
Wow. So did you hear what he just said? Creating kids and gaining amnesia.
Because we're convinced that our empowerment is in our pants.
Because you know what? Oh,
it's about the size of the tool.
You know what? This is a big one. Let me go ahead and get a close-up on this, because I want people to see this.
Come on,
check this out. You believe, black man, your size make you who you are.
Absolutely.
I need dun, dun, dun.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. We want to be defined, right? We want to be defined by something that we consider to be successful. And it's almost as if this environment, this society that's been created through this slaveistic culture that we were born out of into what we call North America.
Yes.
It is what has given us prominence. We realize that if we can make bigger slaves or create bigger slave babies as slaves, that gave us a notch in the belt in the eyes of our master.
Right.
Not realizing when God said be fruitful and multiply, it wasn't just about having kids. It was about taking the land that you had dominion over and being fruitful in the land and dressing and keeping the land. We were made to dress and keep, not to dress and be kept.
Newsflash, everybody. I'm just about to go ahead and give you something. He just said something. I'm about to go ahead and ratify it for you. Here it is. He made us to live forever. And because he made us to live forever, he actually didn't make us to be procreators. He just made us to be creators.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Absolutely. Whoa. That's a drop the mic moment.
Whoa.
That's a drop the mic moment.
But what did we do? We became procreators
through a vision that was handed to us by a master.
Right.
And even when we go to work in 2025, we go to work to check the time clock, to give thanks to what our job has given us, not realizing that what is in us is enough to create that job. We can create that opportunity. We don't have to settle on procreation when God made us to create.
That's a toast moment.
Come on, man.
Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Power Table Podcast.
Yes, it is.
And we're just going to go ahead and put it straight out just the way you need to have it.
We do.
Uncut and raw, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
We're talking about sexuality in our community.
Right.
Now, how does our outlook and our sight for our sexuality actually become a thing? What is it? You know, how we look at the women and objectify them. They got to have big titties.
Well,
they got to have small.
Now, let's put it out there.
And the big booty.
Let's put it out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Our sisters, the most beautiful women on the planet.
Hands
when
down.
God made sisters, not all women are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But there is some
sisters. Shout out to my black women.
I'm trying to tell you.
Shout out to my black. You know what? Y'all can put it in the comment right now.
It's
you know, if you were shouting out to all the black women out there, y'all beautiful. Woo! Our black queen.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question. The problem though is we turn that attraction again. It does have ties back to slavery and beyond. But we took that attraction and we made it an unnatural affection.
Yes.
Something artificial for us to pursue that had nothing to do with the purpose that God gave us. So I want to go a little bit deeper with this thing. When God created Adam, He gave him purpose.
Sure did.
Are you with me?
Absolutely.
When God gave him purpose, in your Bible, and in simplicity for our viewers, He gave Adam the vision to dress and keep the garden, right? We've said that multiple times.
That is his responsibility.
While he was in his role and focused on his purpose, God said it is not good for man to be alone.
And that is absolute truth.
And then therefore He said, I will make him a helpmeet. So when He created Eve to be a helpmeet, it wasn't to help him procreate.
No.
It was to help him with the purpose that He gave him.
Oh, I got one better.
So as long, come with it, but hold on. So as long as we as men are focused on purpose, the helpmeet, the woman can then fulfill her God-given ability and desire to be able to help with that vision.
Yes.
The woman is not the weaker vessel. She's actually the stronger vessel from intellect and emotional control to help the man with his endurance and strength accomplish the purpose that God has given him. The problem is we spend more time focused on the helpmeet than the purpose. And then we wonder why we're losing the helpmeet because women aren't attracted to men that chase after them. Women are attracted to men that chase after purpose.
So you know what? In other words, when it says help meet for the women, guess what it's talking about? The woman is there to help that man meet the vision. Whoa.
And together, that vision that God has, they will meet it faster and more efficiently together because they're working together.
Yes.
We took this thing, we flipped it around the wrong way. We focused more on the lustful part of seeking after women. I mean, look at our economy. And it's not just people of color. Pornography and the industry of sexuality in North America
is $1 billion.
It is a billion, almost $1 trillion industry.
Yes.
You know how it is a $1 billion industry, sexuality, pornography, etc. Because it's at the point now where women know that men are seeking after them more so than their own purpose.
You know what? I'm too grown for this form of social media. I tell people this all the time.
Yeah.
I'm too grown for Instagram.
I get that.
Because every time I get on, I see something on Instagram, it is enticing to my flesh.
What are our babies doing on Instagram? They're shaking their asses on Instagram.
Yes.
They're shaking their tits on Instagram.
Yes.
They're going out of their way to expose their sexuality. Not because they're unintelligent, but because they are intelligent, because they know what a man is looking for. But in their heart's desire, that's not what they're looking for.
Right.
They're doing that for the come up to bring the enticement so they can redirect that man and refocus him on purpose. And our women have been doing that for years. Helping us to refocus the purpose that God has for us, using, tantalizingly so, their beauty, their God-given curves to draw the man just so they can recalibrate the man and refocus the man on the purpose that God has given that man.
Check this out. James Brown, he had a song.
I could go on all day with this, man.
Yeah. James Brown, he had a song, he called it, "It's a Man's World."
Yeah.
But then he refrained and said it wouldn't mean anything without a what? Without a woman or a girl.
Absolutely.
The reason why is because the reason the man wants to go after anything is because he wants to attract that. Exactly what Dr. Chuck was just saying.
And the frustrating part about that is God looks down on that, even the things that God has created, and it's almost a shrivel and disappointment. Because he's like, I made you, sir. I created you in my image, after my likeness, to pursue your purpose. I created her to be a helpmeet. But because of what Jim Crow, because of what slavery has done specifically for people, for men of color, I have to use that same helpmeet to entice you, to redirect you, and to refocus you.
And that's what he's doing. I mean, he's an absolute God. He's going to get it done one way or another.
How many brothers have I met that have said, if it weren't for that woman that God gave me, I wouldn't be half as successful as I am?
Wow.
How many times have I heard that testimony? My woman keeps me focused. My woman is the reason why I'm successful. When God is saying, no, it was supposed to be me. That was the reason why you're successful. I gave you purpose. I gave you dominion. I gave you the promised land. I gave her to you as a helpmeet.
Right.
But because you're so used to, because you've been trained in slavery to focus on what a man wants you to do, you forgot to ask me, your creator, what I want you to do.
And what we do, we start looking at the likeness. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the woman.
Come on, man. Come on,
She's made in the likeness of God. So you're not looking at the God kind, you're looking at the God likeness.
Absolutely.
Woo-wee.
Absolutely. Phase 1 of this conversation, as we're about to roll into phase 2, is this. My brothers, if you're watching, he's giving you purpose. He's giving you focus. He's given you an opportunity with all the character and the spirit that he put in you to not just overcome, but to dominate his creation. That's what he wants you to do. Not to dominate each other as men or women, but to dominate the earth and bring forth vision and bring forth opportunity and bring forth jobs. And then God sends you the appropriate helpmeet to keep you focused, to keep you emotionally balanced, so your pH, your professional pH stands in the right cue, so you can move forward and be a blessing in the earth and fulfill your goal as a servant leader. But you can't get there chasing after women.
You can't get there chasing after that. You know what it is.
That's not the purpose. The purpose ain't the pussy.
It ain't.
The purpose is what God has given you to focus on, so that as you focus and move toward that purpose, and this is not a religious conversation. This is a conversation about how you were created in the image and likeness, not of a master. You were made in the image and likeness of God. That is phase 1. That is phase 1.
And you know what? I'm glad that we went on and put phase 1 out there for you. You know, the reason being is because now you have an opportunity to look at yourself.
Come on. Yes, sir.
What am I looking after? Am I looking after what I can gain?
That's it.
Or am I looking after, here it is, what I can create because he gave it to me to create it?
Right.
Oh,
Your empowerment is not in your pants. Your empowerment is in the spirit of God that he gave you. So all I need you to do is switch what you're focused on. And here's the guarantee. Here's what God said. Here's what your creator said. When you focus on the purpose that I gave you, you will not fail.
You won't.
You cannot fail. You will absolutely be successful if you focus on the purpose that God gave you to have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and everything that creepeth upon the face of the earth, and everything that's in the earth. There's some things in creations that are out there that haven't even been discovered yet, because nature is waiting on you to come into your divine purpose, to come into your divine place, to come into your divine place as a creator, not a procreator.
Not a procreator, because procreation means that you got to take a piece of yourself to do it.
Come on, man.
Come
on now. You ready for phase 2?
Let's go ahead and hit.
I'm ready for phase 2.
Man, let's see. Wait, let's take a drink first. We gotta take a drink.
You talked about black men last week on our last podcast.
Yes.
You talked about black men in America. You talked about the black man's plight. In regards to sexuality, I want to kind of come off the power of not the power, but the strong vibe of the conversation and ease into this.
Okay.
What is it about these beautiful women that have these men wrapped around an axle? I'm gonna throw it out there, Dr. Al, because I need you to answer. I need you to answer. Why do our brothers need more than one woman?
Oh my God, he done asked.
I have to ask the question.
That's
I have to ask the
haymaker
question
for most.
because every single man that's watching this podcast right now knows how frustrating it is.
Yes.
To try to be confined
to one woman.
To one woman.
I got one answer for you.
And this thing is not 5 years old. It's not 50 years old. It's 5,000 years old.
It's 50,000 years old.
So I need you to break this down. Because sisters want you tied down to just them. A woman wants you to be solely to them. Especially here in North America.
Yes.
My question to you is, why can't we settle?
Because we always want a different prize.
You going there with it?
We want more than one trophy.
You going there with it?
I mean, once you go ahead and get the state ring, you want to get the regional ring.
You going there with
Once
it?
you get the regional ring, you want to get the national ring.
Okay, we can start there.
Okay.
We can start there. It could be about trophies.
Yeah.
It could be about the notch in the belt.
Yep.
Could it be biological?
Well, now you want to go to the animal kingdom.
I have to
Yeah.
because the word of God says that he, with everything that he created to include man,
Yes.
he put the seed in itself.
Every seed after its own kind.
Okay, so I'm glad you acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Could it be more than just a notch? Could there be a reason why God allowed for men to have more than one wife in the first place?
He allowed it.
Could there be a reason why they had concubines? Is there some, and I'm throwing it out there, but I'm throwing it to him. So
Put it on me. Put it on me.
Could there be some truth to the fact that men carry thousands of sperm in their biological bodies a month, and a woman carries one egg?
And then she gets rid of it.
And then if it's not fertilized.
Yes.
So all of the chemical makeup that comes with the creation of sperm and all that testosterone
Yes.
versus one egg. You mean to tell me that there's not some biological or chemical desire that's coupled?
Well, let's take it to a biological situation.
We're gonna have to.
Since you
I
brought
need
it
you
out.
to. I need you
I'm
to.
gonna go ahead and put on my intelligent hat.
Because I know Kim wants you tied down to one. right. I know she ain't trying to hear you talk about how many sperm you have.
Right.
She just wants you confined to her.
Right.
But without understanding just how difficult that really is.
You know what? A lot of people really don't understand this. Just on the biological side, he just mentioned that there was thousands of sperm produced in a man
every month.
And guess what? We don't know how many comes out at the point of ejaculation. It's a fight then to fertilize one egg. Have you ever noticed this? That once one sperm fertilizes that one egg, what happens to the rest of them?
They die.
They die.
They die. They slowly float away out of the woman's body.
In the smallest scenario such as that goes along with how we portray ourselves now.
Yes.
But we flipped it. We want to go ahead and have more than one egg to fertilize. Why do we want that? Because we feel as though we have enough us for everything else. But here's the problem. When did you forget about it? When did you forget about who you are so you can go ahead and raise what you made?
I love that. And I'm right there with you, Doc. I just want to make sure, I want to throw this out there. Mm-hmm. I am convinced through time, I haven't been on the earth long, just 54 short years. Mm-hmm. But I am convinced
Yes.
That there is a chemical and biological difference in the struggle of a man that has to deal with trying to minimize how often he is with his woman. It's a fight.
Yes.
It's an unfair expectation.
Yes.
For a man to want his woman to have the same sex drive that he has.
It is an unfair event.
It's unfair because he's not taking into consideration what she's dealing with.
And she could be dealing with the whole world.
He's not taking into consideration what her appetite is or isn't. Mm-hmm. He's not taking into consideration that she's brought along to be by his side, not behind him, but by his side.
By his side.
Be a helpmeet. Be a helpmeet, but that helpmeet is not merely for reproduction. That helpmeet is for so much more that a woman brings to the table. However, because she may not be as sexually motivated, it doesn't mean that she's less than. It means that's who and what she is as a woman. And men spend so much time trying to change her and her appetite into who he is.
Right.
That they ruin the very foundation of the relationship itself.
See, I understand that whole situation that you just said.
And it works both ways. Keep going.
It works both ways. Now I want to go ahead and throw this in, and I know it's a curveball. And this is just something for our ladies to understand about a man, okay? See, when a man actually is with that woman...
Talk to him. Talk to him.
Yeah, he's going to go get something. When that man is with that woman, what actually happens is he shows his vulnerability. Now, I'm going to put this out here just for you so you can understand that his vulnerability is actually what is being portrayed right now. And I just want everybody to see this. This is something that a lot of people need to know, okay? Because, we don't want to mess this thing up. Sometimes, we mess up because we don't actually see how it's portrayed. But I want to go ahead and show you right now that his vulnerability, that man's vulnerability is going to be shown. Now, in that weak moment, in that vulnerable moment, especially during the whole sex situation, guess what? He's showing you, okay, what switch to flip, what chain to pull, what button to hit. And guess what? Because a lot of women don't understand their role as being a helpmeet. Yeah. They're going to push that button. They're going to pull that chain. They're going to flip that switch. Yeah. And you are supposed to be able to protect that portion of vulnerability of that man. But guess what? That's another reason why he wants to go out, because he wants to go out there and find someone to protect that, what he covets the most, his own vulnerability. Go ahead, bro.
Well, I like that piece. Because that woman is vulnerable.
Yeah.
In so many ways. Because she's trying to connect to her man.
Yeah.
She's trying to be the sexual counterpart.
Yes.
That her man is, because she recognizes that. No woman wants to wake up in the morning and say within themselves, I cannot keep my man satisfied.
Wow.
Right? No woman wants to do that.
Nobody does.
There's a hard reality that has to be dealt with.
Yes.
The same discipline that it takes for a woman to be able to be more sexualized for her man is the same discipline it takes for that man to desexualize himself so he can stay within the confines of what his woman needs.
Oh, wow.
It's a struggle both ways.
It is a struggle.
We need for our podcast viewers to understand that brother is trying.
He's trying.
And that sister is trying. But we live in a sexualized world. They can't even sell some bananas without making it sexualized.
They can't. You know what? I was looking at TV earlier and I seen a Tide commercial. How come the Tide commercial had the woman in underwear?
That's a good question. That's a great question.
It's Tide.
Yeah. Detergent.
Yes.
It's a whole different world, bro.
Why you got that woman in underwear?
I mean, from detergent to fruit to concerts, everything in between. Everything is sexualized.
It's hypersexualized.
Absolutely it is. But once you remove all of that, once you remove all that sexualization, once you remove all of those commercials, if you just go back 500 years, go back 1,000 years, the the issue still remains.
Because it has to be an issue. There's no solution to this. It's an issue.
If we're going to deal with this sexualized nature of men and women, we have to be honest and say it this way. The urges are different. I'm not saying that every woman does not have an urge and every man has hyper urges. I'm not saying that, but I am saying there's a difference in urges when it comes to sex between men and women.
Transparent moment. I'm gonna go ahead and show some transparency even for myself. Do you know that it is my desire to have the woman of my life to be at my beck and call?
Yeah, absolutely. If that's your transparent moment, that's all of our transparent moments. Man, I'm telling you, there's nothing more frustrating than to be laying in bed knowing you want some and she sleeps like a baby.
Wait.
Like a baby.
Falling down the hall.
Like a baby. That turned over to the other side of the bed.
Wow.
You lay there. I might as well go have a V8.
Right. I mean, you get up, you go use the restroom, you go check the doors in the house.
You make unusual noises to wake her back up. Hoping that she'll get the hint.
Right. You here it is, you take off the covers.
But all of that, and I stopped, Doc, I stopped fighting. I realize now that my desire to want to be sexually active, here's phase 3, has nothing to do with the heart that I have to love her.
Oh.
My heart to love my wife has nothing to do with how often I want to make love to my wife.
Right.
No, I'm going to say it again.
You got to.
Some of the viewers ain't get it. The love I have and the love you have for your wife has nothing to do with how much you want to make love to your wife or to someone. Because those two feelings are completely different. Those two desires are completely different. You can love your wife and still want to be with someone else.
Well, let me just go ahead and put this out here for you. And a lot of people don't want to see this, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out here. I am going to the Bible. I'm going to Ephesians, the 5th chapter.
Oh, man.
Okay.
You didn't go to 5, did you?
Yeah, I'm going to the 5th chapter right here.
5, go on, man.
Okay. I'm going to start reading here at verse 22. This is what it says. Wives, submit yourself unto your own husband as unto the Lord. Now, how did it just say for a wife to submit herself? I'm going to keep on going. You're going to see that we're going to do some comparison and some contrast in this. All right? For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and as the Savior of the body. Here it is. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be subject to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wife. I'm going to repeat that. Somebody really didn't hear that. Husband, love your wife. Even as Christ had loved the church and gave himself for it.
Yes.
Now, you see two different things.
Be careful. Come on, unpeel it.
You've seen two different things there. You've seen how the woman is supposed to submit, and then you've seen how the man is supposed to love. Submission and love.
And love and make love are two completely different things.
All together. Who came up with the phrase make love?
That's a good question. You and I both know that there's no rational, logical definition that makes sense for that term.
No, the term is fucking.
That's the term. That's the term.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We're like it about sex, fuck, that's the term.
That's the term.
To make love, somebody tried to make it sound so gentle and make it sound so sweet. And it's, if we don't on this podcast be able to talk these things through and uncover this, at least at a minimum, it's going to give them something to talk about.
It's going to
give people the opportunity. Now somebody's going to come back and say, man, those two they're not real men of God. They don't really love Christ. We absolutely do. Yes. There is a reality involved. Yes. When you realize Solomon had 300 wives for a reason. David had multiple wives for a reason. Abraham had multiple wives for a reason.
Jacob
had multiple wives for a reason. It wasn't because they were just being hoes. God understood in the natural order and creation of things that there are more appetites, indulges, chemical feelings that a man's going to have for release than a woman is in terms of releasing an egg, and it has to be that way if you're going to fulfill the second half of the purpose of being fruitful and multiply.
That's right.
If both of us only have one, imagine that. If the man only had one sperm and the woman only had one egg,
it'd make sense.
There'd be no reproduction. None. It takes, and you can ask doctors this, 50 to 100 sperm released into a woman just to fertilize one egg.
And it's only one that fertilizes.
If all that man had was one?
First of all, that would be hard pressed.
You know how lucky you have to be?
I mean,
for that one sperm to get to that egg?
Here it is.
In the time?
Look at yourself. You are the result of that one sperm.
You the one
that made it.
Touchdown. You the one. You made it. Now, you beat everybody else out.
Now, I must go ahead and say this. I'm not going to advocate for polygyny or polygamy. Both polygyny and polygamy. I'm not going to advocate for it. But I just want to go ahead and bring the realness out in this thing. Why do men want to have more than one woman?
Right.
Why do men cheat?
Right.
Well, they said black men don't cheat, man.
They said that?
Oh, yeah.
Black men don't cheat?
I'm going to tell you why.
What do they do?
I've been having the same barber. I've been having the same barber for almost 10 years now? Ain't changed, ain't went nowhere else. Black men don't cheat.
Same best friend for 40 years.
Yeah, same best friend. Guess what? We look at the same channel, ESPN, and don't go nowhere else.
Black men don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat.
I like the way you said that. I'm going to use that conversation. I'm going to use that in Atlanta and see if it works.
Yeah. Hello, Atlanta. But you know what? The reason why I say that is because the reason why we will go outside. Oh, I'm about to go ahead and uncover something else, man.
I'm going with it. Keep going. Okay. Keep going.
The reason why we go outside of what we have been blessed with is because we are reactive.
Yes. We're reactive and we're responding to the natural urges that we have.
We already got to fight against it.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell our podcast members that they don't have the power to resist those urges. Because they absolutely do.
Yeah.
I just want those my brothers out there to realize where the urges are coming from. But they have the discipline.
Yes.
Come on, brother. We do it every day. They have the discipline and they are empowered to be able not to succumb to those urges.
You know what? We got tools. See, my daddy used to tell me this. You know, you see something that is looking good to you. You see that woman who has, all the T and A and have their long hair and looking good and everything, and you got your wife right by you. He told me a secret, y'all. He said, "Look at your shoes."
Is that what Dad said? Dad said, "Look at your shoes."
It worked, y'all. Look at your shoes. Boy, I sure tied that bow really good.
I tied that knot.
I tied that knot.
That's what Dad said.
Look at your shoes.
We may have to come out with a T-shirt that says, "Look at your shoes." It may keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, because
it has to be
because it's a continuous fight.
Yes.
It's a continuous, just like the sperm is fighting to fertilize that egg. Man. That is the same urges that we have. We gotta fight.
So for the viewers, this is phase 2 right here. Just because your body has the urge and wants to use what's in your pants as an empowerment tool,
yes,
it doesn't mean that you have to be. It doesn't mean that you don't have the discipline to be able to control that appetite. In fact, in order for you to walk into God's purpose, there are 3 appetites that you absolutely have to conquer.
Okay.
And one of them is your sexual appetite.
You can't be Hank Aaron.
You have to control your sexual appetite.
That's
because
right.
if you don't, you're like anything else. Your sexual appetite will drive you instead of you driving it.
Right.
But at the same time, I want my brothers to know and my sisters to know that brother, that man you're with,
Yes.
that is being faithful, he's struggling to do it.
He is, because it is a struggle.
Because it is a struggle from the inside out. And I'm not saying, sis, that you're not struggling too. I just want you to understand that there is a biological reality to your man's struggle. Because he is creating those sperms, and along with the creation of that sperm and that testosterone comes desire. It comes that mood. You know how, sis, you know how you have that mood to be sexual every once in a while? He has that 24/7.
Yes.
And he disciplines that because he loves you.
Let me go ahead and put
That's your phase 2. Come on.
I'm going to throw something out here. And because sometimes that don't happen, men are susceptible to something else. You may put on lingerie, you may put on something real nice.
That's good.
To go ahead and entice your man, but something else put on something else. Do you know depression puts on lingerie and then draws your man to it too?
Oh, that's good. You got to elaborate on that. You have to elaborate on that,
man,
brother.
I'll tell you what it is.
Uncover that.
Because you know what? Because he felt rejection. Because he had an obstacle to go through.
That's rich.
Because he had to deal with the weight of life. And he wants to go to the help meet.
That's rich.
To try to go ahead
fulfill that.
Fulfill it.
And
let
gets
it go.
Rejected by it.
And here it is, just like what I was saying when you was away.
Yes.
He wanted to he has all that on there, and he wants to look to you for that vulnerable moment.
Yeah.
And you take advantage of it. Now here comes depression. Dressed up.
Now, sis, you might not be doing it on purpose. You might not be purposely turning your man down because you want to get at him. It could be you had a hard day at work too.
Yes.
It could be your feet hurt.
Yes.
You had to take care of the kids. You had to work. You coming home. You got to clean up. You're tired. I mean, I get that. All Doc is trying to show you is, whatever the reason behind it is, that man is still going to feel rejected.
And that rejection.
And if he's less than who he needs to be as a man, he's going to take that dressed up lingerie depression and move on with it to try to fulfill it somewhere else.
Hence what Paul was talking about in Ephesians.
Yes.
It told the woman to submit to the man. Why? Because the Most High allowed for Paul to understand that dressed up depression is almost more powerful than the strength that you have.
It is. It is.
It's so crazy right now that our family, the family core is all broken up right now. It's rare that you see mother, father, children.
Yeah.
You usually see mother, children, or in rare cases, father, children. But you don't see the core of mother, father, children. Why? Because the mother and father have not figured out how could they be susceptible to one another.
Yeah.
How? See, the thing is, just think about teeth on the sprocket. Okay, the teeth on the sprocket. Some of the teeth goes inside of the sprocket, but it's different from another set of teeth.
Yeah.
So if that woman understands where she fits in it, then it will be whole.
Okay, so
go ahead, bro.
I have to. I want to come in on one point. We got 9 minutes left of this thing. I want to use these 9 minutes to make sure that there's something very clear when it comes to sexuality for both men and women.
Yes.
I think we've done a great job outlining how we got here through chattel slavery.
Yes.
Our misfocus on our Creator.
Yes.
versus focusing on what man wants us to do.
Yes.
Trying to find empowerment where we could, and we couldn't find it in the God-given creation that God gave us.
Yes.
So we tried to find it through our pants. We tried to find empowerment through dominating and putting a notch under our belt.
Yes.
Trying to understand and navigate our way through why we have so much sexual energy. And our beautiful wives or girlfriends don't have the same energy. And it's not because she don't like you, brother. Sometimes it's just because she don't have the same urge you have, because there's chemical imbalance and differences.
Yes.
But here is a piece that I want my brothers to understand. This is so important. It's hard for a woman to be attracted sexually to a deadbeat, non-purposed brother.
Oh my God.
We got to say it. I want to make sure we spend some time.
The deadbeat, non-purpose brother that has amnesia.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Women are drawn to success through stability and feeling as if she's protected.
You know what? That's one job.
That's so important.
There's one job for the man. Man, you don't understand that. You only got one job. That one job is to secure. Now, that security covers a lot.
It does.
But that one job is to secure.
It does.
How many times have you thought about how's the security in my own household?
Man, I had a conversation with a young man in my church. And he was like, Pastor, I don't understand why my wife doesn't want to be with me as often. I don't understand why, she gets mad at me when I go looking at other women. And I stopped him right there. And I said, brother, you have no job. You borrow gas money from your wife. She's working 2 jobs to provide for you and take care of your kids.
Oh, wow.
And you're having children with other women outside your marriage. So with no job.
With no job.
You want her to be sexually attracted to that. You're expecting. I said, when is the last time you were attracted to dog food? When is the last time you were attracted to a pile of shit?
Wow.
You're not attracted. You go the opposite way from that. You're asking your wife to do something that's unnatural.
Yes.
To her nature. Yes, she was given a direction to submit. But understand something. When God told wives to submit to their husbands, he was asking them to submit to someone that was a godly man.
Here it is.
Not a selfish man. There's a difference.
Woman, you got to submit to those who are equipped. Ooh,
come on.
Not just in their pants.
Come on, sir.
They got to be equipped to take care of you. They got to be equipped to make sure that you have your house, your raiment. This is all book here. I ain't saying nothing out the side of my neck. To take care of this. Man, let me tell you something. The strength that you have, it is not just go ahead and tell somebody I'm your boss. The strength that you have, here it is so you can take care of the family.
That's right. And when you do that, when you take care of your family, when you're out there sacrificing on your job, when you're out there using God's given creative power and dominion that attracts the helpmeet, and now the helpmeet wants to be sexualized by you because she wants to submit to you because you're walking in your purpose, she can now walk in her purpose. But you can't expect her to walk in her purpose when you're not walking in your purpose. You're asking her to submit to someone that won't submit to God. What are you trying to say, Pastor Charles? I'm trying to say that when you aren't submitting to God through following your purpose, through finding what God has for you, through using your creative power, creating things, taking care of your family, you can't expect her to fulfill her God-given purpose of submitting to you when you're not fulfilling your purpose to submit to him. You want to do whatever the hell you want to do, and then expect her to just fall in line and open her legs up.
That's not going to
happen. It ain't going to work. She goes, and if she does it, here's what's dangerous.
You're going to find some vice grips.
Stop it. If she does it, if she falls on her back and opens up her legs, she's going to be holding her nose at the same time. It's not going to be sincere.
It won't. You know what? That's where the fakeness come in at. You know what? See, being in a relationship, I'm going to tell you this we got a few more minutes and we're about to close this thing down. Being in a relationship, men has this Richter scale that we have. I'm going to tell you about it, okay? Women, I hope that you got your notepads out and you're taking some notes.
Take the notes.
Okay? This Richter scale that we have is the reaction that we get.
Yeah.
The genuine, authentic, reaction that we get from having sex.
Yeah.
That's how we judge our relationships. Wow. You didn't see that
It's
coming?
not the right way to do it, but that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
It's what we do. Guess what? We have an opportunity right now to go ahead and correct some of these things so we can put the family, the core family back together. Do you not know that if the core family gets back together, it starts with the family, and then it goes to the community, and then from the community, guess it goes to the region, then it goes nationally, and you wonder why we can't do anything.
Here you go. Here it is right here. You want to fix the culture. You want to fix the movement of the people in this country that just came out of the worst form of slavery known to man.
Yes.
You fix the man, you'll fix the culture.
Wow.
That is the benediction to a lesson on sexualization.
Well, you know what?
You want to change the focus of empowerment so people understand that empowerment is not in your pants. The sexual revolution and the issues we find, you want to turn around a culture and come against the power that chattel slavery put out. Fix the man, focus in on God's purpose.
Yes.
Woman will submit to the man. The sexual revolution now happens within the family and not outside the walls. You change a culture. Brother, what I'm telling you is this. It's in your hands. When you are ready to fall back on what God has given you, to chase after your purpose, to chase after your creation, not your procreation, your creation. I'm so glad you channeled that. Stop trying to make babies and make business. Make jobs, create opportunities, and you'll find at home everything will line up just the way you want it to be. And I tell you what, you may work yourself so hard in finding God's vision, you too tired to want to have sex all the time anyway. It'll right size everything.
Check this out. That's a may the Lord watch moment.
Come on, man.
All right, man. All right. Hey, this is
We
what
did it
it
again,
is.
man.
We did it again.
What?
Yeah.
If y'all didn't enjoy it, I enjoyed it. Dr. Al, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this
This is
one.
a power table.
It's talking about the empowerment of the people.
Yes, sir.
And once again, I just want to go ahead and tell everybody, hey, this is the power table. We are talking about how we are empowering our families, changing the culture. Guess what? I want you to be empowered. I want you to go ahead and take the next step forward. And guess what? You can do it with the help of the Lord.
Yes.
All right, with that being said, man, next time. All right. Same bat channel, same bat station. All right, y'all.
We out.